Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Let's crack real math. My name is Viraaj, and in this video we'll be having a look at simple interest and how we can calculate simple interest. So before we start, please do not forget to perform an LSS, that is like, share and subscribe. And without wasting much time, let's get started. So before we dive into some examples, let's have a look at the key formula for calculating simple interest. So simple interest. So the formula simply is equals to P times R times T all over 100. Now, what does each of these things stand for? The P stands for your principal amount. Okay, let's just write that again. Principal amount. Or you can say this is the amount of money that has been invested. It's the same thing. It's just a different way of calling what it is. Okay, so then your R, this is the rate at which the money is invested. This could be 1%, 2%, 5.5%, whatever it is, it will be given in the question. And your T is simply the time for which your money is invested, or of course simple interest can also be applied in terms of loans. If you do economics or business studies, you would understand that much better. And the time will simply be the amount in years. It could be 3 years, it could be 4 years, it could be 1.5 years, however the amount. And whenever you have all this information, all you have to do is plug it back into this equation. Now please do note that questions can vary. Sometimes they will only be asking you for the interest you earn. That means all you do is you put your values into the formula, and whatever your answer is, that is your final answer. However, if it is asking for the total value of money you will have, so say I invested 400 pounds, let's take that as a currency, and they ask me what is going to be your total value of your investment after a certain amount of years at a certain amount of rate. And then what I have to do is I have to solve it. Whatever I have after this equation, I have to add it back to 400 pounds to get my final answer. So without wasting further time, let's dive into some examples. Right, the first example I have, it says Ria deposits £1,150 in a bank that pays 4% simple interest a year. Work out the interest paid by the bank in 3 years. So let's start with the necessary information. We need to find our P, which is the price or the amount invested. We need to find the rate at which the money is invested, and we need to find the time for which the money is invested. The time, as you can see, it says here 3 years, so our time is 3. The rate, it says 4% here, so our rate is 4. Anything you see in percent should most likely be your rate. And your P, that's your principal amount, or the money invested in the first place, and that is £1,150. Now that you have your information, we know we're working in simple interest, and it's asking us for the interest paid. So not for the final answer, just the interest paid by the bank to Ria. So to start with, you should write your formula. That is P times R times T over 100. Now please note that some math examination boards do award you a mark for writing the equation first, the formula first. Some, however, do not award you with a mark. So I mean, before you do your exam, you should know if it does or if it does not, but I feel like it will never hurt you if you write the formula, because it also helps you in structuring and organizing your answer well. So substituting your values, we will now have our P is 1150 times our R, which is 4, times our T, which is 3, and all of this over 100. So doing this, 1150 times 4 is 4600, and times 3, that should be 13,800. So you will now have 13,800. That's 800 over 100. And doing this, we know that these two zeros will cancel these out. We have 138 over 1. This is simply 138 pounds. Please do not forget to write your unit. It may not be in pounds, it could be any other currency. You should look at your question carefully. You can lose marks there. And this is your final answer. As I said, it's asking for the interest paid by the bank, and that is only 138 pounds. If it was asking for the amount of money Ria would now have after the 3 years with 4% of simple interest, then you would add this 138 to the original amount she invested, which was 1,150. Next example, we have Delaney loans £5,800 from a bank where the cost of borrowing is 6.7% per year. Calculate the amount of simple interest Delaney pays in 10 years. So let's get our information. We need our P, we need our R, we need our T. Our T, the amount of years, it says it's 10. So that's our T. The rate, anything to do with percentage, 6.7. And the principal amount invested, however, in this case, the principal amount that is borrowed by Delaney, that is 5,800. So you can see that simple interest works both ways, while depositing money and while borrowing money rather. So for using your formula, we know we have P times R times T over 100. That's T, that's P. Your P is 5,800 times your rate, which is 6.7, times your T, which is 10, all over 100. And doing the needful, put this in your calculator. Please be careful while you're inputting the values. Make sure you put and click the correct numbers, because this can result in very awful mistakes. I've been part of one myself. 38600 all over 100. These two zeros will cancel each other out, so you're just left with 3,886 pounds. That is your final answer. Please make sure you know which units you're working in, and I think they did ask only for the simple interest. Yep, Delaney pays in 10 years, so that is your final answer. Now, as you can see, these two questions did use the same formula but in different ways. The first question, Ria deposited 1,150 and she was earning money, while Delaney loaned 5,800. Means you had to pay extra, so the amount of extra money you had to pay when returning it to the bank was simply 3,886 pounds. Moving on to your next example. Right, it says the bank offers 2.5% simple interest per annum. Annum simply means a year. Ian invests £11,000 at this bank. Calculate the total sum of amount in his account after 5 years. So first things first, we need to get our P, we need to get our R, we need to get our T. Our T, anything to do with time or years, says 5, so that's our T. R, that's our percentage, or the amount of, or the rate at which money is invested, that's 2.5. And our P, the principal amount, or the amount invested, that's £11,000. Again, now that we have our values, let's put it into our equation. P times R times T over 100. Again, doesn't hurt to write the equation. You can always write it. Helps you organize your answer. This becomes P, that's 11,000, times your R, which is 2.5, times your T, which is 5, over 100. Doing this, 11,000 times 2.5 times 5, that is 137,500 over 100. These two zeros cancel out. You are left with 1375. Now, please do note this is not your final answer because it asked for the total sum of amount in his account after 5 years. It's not asking for the interest that's going to be earned. So all you have to do is take the amount of interest earned and add it back to the amount he invested. So this simply becomes 1375 plus 11,000. And doing this, you should get 12,375 pounds. So as you can see, this question, you are asking for the total amount he earns. If I were to explain this in terms of layman, think of it this way. I invest some sort of money in an account, in a bank account, and there are two different ways I can see how much I'll have, the amount of money I'll have after a certain period of time. Let's say after 5 years, I could see how much of the money will be added to what I've invested. So I could, if I invested 500, I could check how much more money will be added to it once that 5-year term is ended. Maybe let's say 60. So that means 60, whatever currency, will be added to my original amount invested. This is simply the interest that you're earning. And I could also look at it in terms of the total amount of money I'll have, which in this case would be 500 plus 60, which is 560. And that is exactly what they're asking in this question, the total sum of amount. So let's have a look at the next example. So Amelia deposits £7,500 in a bank that pays 4.6% simple interest a year. Calculate the total sum of amount in Amelia's account after 2 years. Let's start with what we need. We need a P, we need an R, we need a T. Our T is 2 years, R is 4.6%, and P, amount invested or deposited, it's the same meaning, that's 7,500. Now again, using our formula, we know this is P times R times T all over 100. You now have 7,500 because that is our P times R, which is 4.6, times T, which is 2, all of this over 100, and plugging these values into a calculator. 7,500 times 4.6 times 2, that's 69,000 over 100. These two zeros cancel each other out, you're left with 690. Now this is not your final answer because again in this question I asked for the total sum. So all you do is you add 690 to the original amount, which I think was 7,500. Yep, it was. You just add it here, and doing that you would have 690 plus 7,500, that is 8,190 pounds, I believe. Let me just quickly check that in the calculator. 690 plus 7,500, yep, it is 8,190 pounds. Please make sure you know what units you are using. And now for the final example for today. This is a challenge question. Challenge. Oops, no. Okay. Challenge question. Please do pause the video and have a go at this by yourself, and then resume the video to see if you are correct or incorrect. And if you are incorrect, please take note of your mistake. Now, question says, Sarah invests £5,000 in a bank charging 4.4 simple interest a year. Miriam invests £4,600 in a different bank charging 6.9% simple interest a year. Who earns the most after 8 years? So, in this question, as we can see, we have two different people to look at. We have Sarah, we need to take care of, and we have Miriam to take care of. So let's do them separately. Let's have a look at Sarah first. Let me represent Sarah with S. Let's have a look at S. For S, for Sarah, we need to know our P, we need to know our R, we need to know our T. Our P for Sarah is £5,000 because that's what she invested. Our R for Sarah is 4.4% because that's the rate that she's investing in. And our T for Sarah is not included in her sentence, but at the end it does says who earns the most after 8 years. So that means her T is 8 years. Now let's have a look at Miriam. Let's label her M. For M, we need to know our P, we need to know our R, we need to know our T. So the amount Miriam invests is 4,600. The rate at which she invests is 6.9%. And the T for her is also 8 years because the question said who earns the most after 8 years. So 8 years is common to both. So now we need to do two different equations using for the two different people. So let's do Sarah first. Doing our equation, we know the formula is P times R times T over 100. This becomes 5,000 times 4.4 times 8 over 100. And putting this in your calculator, 500 times 4.4 times 8 divided by 100, that should give you 176,000 over 100. And this cancels this cancels this. You will be left with 1760 pounds. Okay, let me just confirm if we inputted the same value. Okay, this is 5,000. Sorry guys, 5,000 times 4.4 times 8. I think that is still 4.4 times 8. Oh, okay, that's correct. 1760 pounds. That's correct. So now let's have a look at Miriam. Again, same formula. P times R times T over 100. Putting your values in, your P is 4600 on this occasion, so 4600 times your R, which is 6.9, times the amount of years, which is 8, all over 100. And doing the calculation, 4600 times 6.9 times 8, that is 253,920 all over 100. This zero cancels this, and doing the rest, I am having 2539.2 pounds. So now that I have my two values, let's have a look at what the question wanted us to do again. Question said, who earns the most after 8 years? And as we can see, visibly that this number is bigger than this number over here. So we know. So sorry guys, whiteboard just went off suddenly, but as I was saying, this value visibly is greater than this value, and since the question asked who earned more, we can confidently say that it's this person that earned more, and that was Miriam and more. And also, if the question, you should read the question carefully. If it asks for the by the amount it earns more, all we have to do is just take this amount, subtract it by this amount, that is 2539.2 minus 1760. That should give you 779.2, and more by 779.2 pounds. And that is a final answer for that question. So thank you for watching guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Please do perform an LSS, that's like, share and subscribe, and please also in the comments below ask any questions you may have or give any feedback. Thank you for watching, have a nice one.